foul. 2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swinging a drive, deep left field. This is one back. Walk the ball. Let's Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Scott Geirman. And Scott, it's here. Game 1 of the NLDS, Dodgers hosting the Padres, Julio Urias on the mound. We could talk all about how the Dodgers have owned the Padres. We could talk about the advantages, but at the end of the day, they've got to play the game tonight, 6:37 p.m. The Dodgers host the Padres. I've talked a bunch about this. I haven't gotten your thoughts, so I'll just turn it over to you. Julio gets the ball in Game 1 against Mike Clevenger. Dodgers, Padres, how we feeling? What are you thinking as you approach tonight's game?
I'm just very confident with Julio on the mound. I know earlier, about a month ago, I said, or probably a little bit longer than that, I said Dustin May was a guy I'd like out there in a Game 1, but Julio has kind of reemerged for the entire year, and it's just kind of gone unnoticed. So it's hard for me to not be confident with essentially our ace on the mound. He's been incredible all season quietly, and he's just established himself as one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And for the Dodgers today, Julio's been stellar against the Padres this year. And I'm not going to say I'm overly confident, but where they are lined up with that little extra rest, I think they're in prime of a position as they could ask for.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we did our Sunday night show with Matt, with Justin Lorber, we talked a lot about whether Julio or Clayton Kershaw was going to get the ball in Game 1, because I think there was some debate. Obviously, Clayton Kershaw has been incredible. I mean, basically in a smaller sample size, he's been just as good as Julio when you look at numbers like ERA. Julio has a slightly better ERA, has done it over a significantly higher amount of innings. And so, to me, it makes sense, but I thought you could make a case either way. I like that the Dodgers, Scott, went with Julio here because I like Julio coming back in Game 5. To me, this signals that we're not due for any weirdness. Like, we're not going to get Kershaw on short rest and Julio out of the bullpen. They're going to play it straight. Julio in Game 1. If they need a Game 5 starter, it would be Julio again. I like that. Do you prefer Julio over Kershaw in this spot?
Yeah, absolutely. I like a little, normalcy with that. Not that I'd prefer Kershaw or Julio. I think both would have been fine. I would have been comfortable with either or. But just like you said, I really do think that having that rotation-based, matchup, it felt like last year they were just, plugging the holes. There was just one after the other injuries, but they don't need to do that. They don't need to fuddle around with it. And Dave commented on that. They did kick that around, that idea that, which I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad that they're going to keep Julio as a starter because I think he's earned that, and he's shown this year it's when he's at his best.
Yeah, I like the way you put it, plugging holes. Last year, they were reacting to everything. They were constantly, it felt like, behind the 8 ball and constantly catching up. This guy on short rest, this guy out of the bullpen. They get the extra week off, take a deep breath, put your best starter in, Julio Urias on the mound, Clayton Kershaw in Game 2, and then it goes from there. On the other side, the Padres, Clevenger gets the start for them. We knew this heading into, as soon as the wild card series ended, we knew that Clevenger was going to get the ball because the Padres had to use their top 3 starters in the wild card round in order to advance. So I look at this one. The Dodgers have their ace on the mound. The Padres have a guy in Clevenger who is their number 4 starter, who has absolutely been torched by the Dodgers in every single start he's made against them this year. And so I don't want to be hyperbolic. I don't want to be overreactionary ahead of the fact. But Scott, I have to wonder, is this a must-win when it's Urias versus Clevenger in Game 1 of the NLDS? Is this a must-win for the Dodgers?
Pretty much without having to, put so much weight. Yeah, I have to put so much weight on it because you do. This is a must-win. It definitely is. Your first game of the playoffs is absolutely a must-win. With that, however many day layoff, was it 5-6? It is definitely a must-win. That's a lot of pressure, but that's a lot of the pressure that comes with being, the top seed in all of baseball. That's what the position they put themselves in. That's how it's lined up. It is a must-win today.
Yeah, and when I say must win, I don't think the Dodgers are necessarily automatically going to lose the series if they lose tonight. But this is the biggest advantage they will have at any point this season. Like, yes, Kershaw is great in Game 2, but Darvish, you could argue, is right there with him. And go down the list, Tyler Anderson in Game 3 versus Snell versus Musgrove, whoever it would be. Then you start getting into, we're talking about an even playing field from a pitching perspective. If not, you could make an argument like when Gonsolin comes back back and is on short rest. If that's against Musgrove, that's probably advantage Padres. And so the gap between Julio and Clevenger, I think, is the key to me in this one, as far as this one has to be the Dodgers. Like, if they can come out, they can shake off a little bit of rust, they can jump out to an early lead, they can get to Clevenger, start working in the bullpen, because that's the other thing, right? With Clevenger on the mound, if you can knock him out after 2 or 3 innings, then all of a sudden you start the series by taxing the bullpen. You start the series by getting looks at some of these relief pitchers that you're going to need big hits against in Game 3, Game 4, if there's a Game 5, that kind of a thing. And so, to me, there is a little bit of added pressure on the Dodgers because of the matchup. So, last question for you here, Scott, is predictions. I mean, Dodgers, Padres tonight. Do you have the Dodgers winning? Do you have them winning comfortably? Give me a prediction for tonight.
Well, considering that in the last, let me have my notes here. So in the last against the Dodgers, let's see. In his last 13 innings against the Dodgers, he allowed 14 earned runs. Jeez. I have to go back and look at how much that was like in, blowout scenarios, but it wasn't. He was pulled relatively early in all of that. He's allowed like a 947 OPS in those games. So definitely all the numbers point to Dodgers having that. And it's the top part of their order. It's not, different parts of their lineup. It is the big hitters putting up damage. So I think the Dodgers win, I think they put up a couple. I'm not going to say it's a blowout, but it's going to be a standard game. I'll say, 5-2, something in that range. I think that's what I kicked around. Only thing I'm worried about, if they do knock him out early and the Padres not concede the game, but I don't want them to go to a long man and just eat the innings. I want them to have to grind those innings out. So just like you said, get looks at the Padres bullpen instead of just, possibly Nick Martinez to give them some length. So I like to see them grind it out, force, Bob Melvin to really get into his bullpen.
Yeah. Looking at Clevenger's starts, he went 4 2/3 and gave up 5 earned. He went 3 1/3 and gave up 5 earned. He went 5 and gave up 4 earned. And so, like you said, 3 starts, all of them rough. Dodgers need to jump on them early. I'm with you. I think the Dodgers win. I'm hoping we get a good Julio performance tonight. Maybe 6, even 7 innings out of Julio would be great. Yeah, something like 2 earned runs. I think it's going to be like 6-2. I think that would be my prediction. I think the Dodgers get to Clevenger 3-4 nothing, something like that in the first 4 innings. I think Julio goes 7 innings, 2 earned runs. Dodgers cruise 6-2, something like that. Hey, a couple of notes for folks watching this about some things that we've got coming for you tonight, and then a lot of stuff that's going to continue throughout the playoffs as long as the Dodgers are alive. There will be a live pregame show here on the Dodger Blue YouTube page. So Dodger Blue 1958, subscribe, ring the notification bell. I will be on here about 10-15 minutes before first pitch. So 6:20, 6:25, somewhere in that range. I'll be live on here, kind of doing a pitching matchup thing, talking about the matchup of Julio, diving a little bit deeper into Clevenger, giving you some picks of the day if you want to talk game lines, props, that kind of thing. That will flow directly into a live watch party if you go in the description below. We use a service called Playback. We partner with them. We do live watch parties. We did a test run throughout the end of the regular season. We're going full bore launch for this in the postseason. So it's getplayback.com/room/DodgerBlue1958. Join us there, live watch party for all of the NLDS games, NLCS, World Series, as long as the Dodgers are alive. That will be awesome. And we'll also be doing a live postgame show here on the Dodger Blue 1958 YouTube channel as well. So tons of content, wall-to-wall coverage for you here on our YouTube page. Please join us. Going to be a blast. That's Scott Geirman. My name is Jeff Spiegel. As always, we appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take a deep breath, relax a little bit, get some air before we get into the tense nature of playoff baseball. Enjoy your day. Go Dodgers.